And we know that it was something like the super soldier serum, and this brings us back to what Dr. Erskine told young, very skinny Steve Rogers before he took the super soldier serum originally, is that Marvel's Thunderbolts, aka the New Avengers, certainly surprised us all as how it was able to take a group of the franchise's rogues and give us a deeply thematic film. And a large part of this was the villain, who is the physical manifestation of the deeper theme, Sentry, or the Void. Now, I have a full review of this film up on my channel right now, so if you haven't seen that video, you can click on that up in the corner right now. But this video essay is going to discuss specifically who the villain, Sentry, or the Void is, and what exactly is going on with him, psychologically speaking. In the third act of the film, we are given a glimpse of Bob, or Robert Reynolds' past. His dad was abusive towards him and his mom, and whenever young Bob tried to step in and help, his mom always told him, "You're just making things worse." Aside from the insults and probably physical abuse from his dad, Bob's fear began to grow and turned into anger at others, but also himself. He then dropped out of high school and became a drug addict, full of self-doubt and also delusions of grandeur. Later in the Shame Room sequence, Bob describes the Sentry project as feeling like a miracle. It was finally his chance to show people who he really was, to do some good in the world, whatever that's supposed to mean. After the experiment, Bob seems like a confused guy who just wants to help, but we begin to see how this might be self-absorption. In the movie, when we first meet Bob, he is confused, he doesn't know where he is, and he doesn't know how he got there, but he's trying to help the whole time, and then he distracts everybody and helps our main characters escape, but then he also realizes that he has superpowers. Once he's able to handle his powers, Bob takes a dark turn, embracing the name of Sentry. He begins to talk in a brash and condescending tone to everyone, including the person who's supposed to be his handler, Valentina de Fontaine. He starts to talk of himself as a god, and he's greater than the Avengers. Valentina did say that, didn't she? Well, it seems to be true. This forces Valentina and her assistant to temporarily cripple Sentry, but that unleashes his dark side, the Void. Director Drake Schreier said that they based the Void's design off of the traces left behind by the victims of the Hiroshima and Nagasaki bombings. And the Void and the shadows left behind by his victims in the film are just that. They're just shadows. And even the Void himself, besides being completely black, you can see faintly the two little twinkles of light in his eyes. The Void isn't exactly killing these people, but he's trapping them in their shame and fear, because he himself is trapped in his shame, fear, and regret. After the Thunderbolts help him through some different shame rooms, we get the lab where he became Sentry, where the Void himself is. Fear turns to anger, anger turns to hate. Thank you, Master Yoda. Bob hates and fears himself, and the Void feeds off of this. When the Void attacks the Thunderbolts and tells Bob that they will always be alone, Bob attacks the Void and starts relentlessly beating him to the ground, but all the darkness can do is laugh. Not only that, it slowly begins to overtake Bob. The darkness, the shadow begins to envelop Bob, even though he thinks that he's still beating down on the part of himself that he's afraid of. Thankfully, the members of the Thunderbolts are able to recognize this, and Yelena is able to get to Bob to hold him back. It's this brief moment of connection between Bob and the Thunderbolts that helps the Void to stop and to leave. But how does that happen? Why is this significant? Because this is what his parents should have done when Bob was younger. If not his dad, then his mom, definitely. Now, in real life, what happens in this scene, where the darkness, where the emptiness leaves because of the love that you feel, is not instantaneous. It's a process. If anything can be discerned from the ending of this film, is that you cannot try to hide your fear, to hide your shame, to hide your regret. You can try and run from it, or shove it way down, as Yelena tells Bob to do at the beginning of the film, but it will only become stronger as it did for Bob. In Bob's case, because of the Sentry project, all of those things that were going on inside of him is only made bigger, stronger, and more threatening because of the Sentry project. And we know that it was something like the super soldier serum, and this brings us back to what Dr. Erskine told young, very skinny Steve Rogers before he took the super soldier serum originally, is that he says,
"The serum amplifies everything that is inside, so good becomes great, bad becomes worse.
It seems that what he said has been fulfilled in the villain of Sentry. But for how powerful the Void looked, and he was overtaking everyone in New York, it seemed, just one moment of connection between Bob and the Thunderbolts made him leave. However, as we know from the ending and post-credit scenes of the film, the door is still open for Sentry and the Void to return. Hello everyone, welcome back to Movies with Michael. I hope you enjoyed this video essay, and if you did, please consider leaving a like on this video and comment down below whether you agree or disagree, or are you not sure about the topic we discussed today. Please tell me all that down below in the comments section, and please remember to subscribe to this channel and click the notification icon to be notified about my latest videos. That's all for now, and I'll see you all next time.